Hey, what up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I am her. What's good, y'all? Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and the non-brothers. I hope you all are well. Going to talk about this whole out of the league mentality again. Muffled. Okay. Check this real quick. It might be because I got the fan going on behind me. Ooh, that camera resolution so low. Let's change that resolution real quick. Let's go audio. Testing, testing. Oh, it's the wrong mic. Testing, testing. How's that? Is that better? I think that's better. Yeah, I was on the wrong mic. Sorry, guys. It was this mic. I was on the computer mic, actually in the camera mic, and I wasn't on this mic. Should be better now. Is it better now? Nice. Good. So, just to recap. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Till them questions start rolling in, I want to talk about that mentality of she is out of your league again. And there's a lot of inspiration that comes from this, but I just want to be clear, brothers. There ain't no such thing as a woman that's out of your league. All these sisters talking about their degrees and all this type of stuff and their education and how amazing their education is and their job is and all that type of stuff. Let me tell you something, it don't mean nothing. Okay. Now, I've been in university. I didn't finish university, been to university. And I have 4 wives. They've all been to university. And none of them make more money than me. None of them can outthink me. I actually beat them around the head and the neck intellectually. They're all younger than me, even though, that's not really the stuff that they qualify and quantify as out of their league. And, I could run loops around them, out jump, out run, out push up, out whatever. I can't find a metric that they can beat me in. And I'm not like trying to slam dunk on my wives, but just in general, I was like, I can't remember a woman in the past, not at least in terms of relationships. I'm 50 this year. I can't think for at least 2 decades a woman that could just like really, in terms of relationship, run circles around me. It just doesn't happen. And I don't consider myself, to be some exceptional dude. I don't. So, no, I don't have a college degree. Don't need it either. I make good money. I'm over 6 figures. So, I don't think I'm an exceptional person. I'm not like, average, but I'm not exceptional either. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I consider myself above average, but I don't consider myself to be exceptional. There's like that room between there, and I think I'm in it. And so I'm around a lot of dudes and yours. I mean a lot of dudes that I consider to be exceptional, and they're just like, they've got this mentality that like, some woman is out of their league because she's pretty. I like that, dudes. I want y'all to give that idea up. I have not met a single woman in terms of relationships that isn't some sort of wreck in some way, shape, or form that's like so massive that you're just like, you really have to stop and wonder how they made it into adult life without like some catastrophic event taking their life. And it would actually, catastrophic would be something like needing to cross the street. And I'm not trying to be offensive. It's just like, I'd be listening to these women, I like talking to them or watching, and I'm just like, this is an adult. They can vote. Bros. They function well in the workforce and world. But the moment you throw them into a relationship, bros, listen, don't listen to them about their qualifications or about their careers. Because you know what? If you get married to these sisters, or you're trying to get married to these sisters, you're not marrying her qualification, and you're not marrying her and her career. And the moment she steps out of that, her specialty, her like pro power or whatever it is that she thinks she's got going on, guess what? It all ends there. They're a mess. All of them. No, my phone's talking to me. I don't. That's the Chinese. I went about the Huawei, the Huawei P50. The ones that got blocked by Google and all them. And I'll just be talking, and it says just unlock me first, and I'm just like, you Chinese spying telephone. So anyway, the Chinese are spying on me. They want my secrets. Like he's working on the new guide. What is it? What does it say? So anyway, look, guys, they're not out of your league. Pretty doesn't make them out of your league. And in their minds, it does, but I promise you it doesn't. And I just want you guys to disabuse yourself of that idea and that concept. Do you think out of your league is a valid thing when it comes to looks? No. In London, I regularly see not good-looking guys, no homo, who are fat, chubby, or look unclean with pretty women. Yeah, because it doesn't matter. You have to remember, it's like, attraction markers for men and women are different. What a woman finds attractive, it has more markers than what men find attractive. Men have like 2 or 3 attraction markers, like looks, personality, and like maybe submissiveness or whatnot. And you could really throw personality and submissiveness in together, but we'll keep it separate just, so it sounds like we got more markers than we actually do. Women will be looking at looks, income, this, social status, yada, 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 yada. They'll just throw a whole laundry list of stuff together that it takes for a man to be considered attractive. And looks are on that list, but they're surprisingly lower on the list than most men give it, credit for. Now, obviously, women do like attractive looking men, but that's like a bonus. It's like a candle on the cake. But some cakes, they just don't need candles. It's an extra. It's not a necessity for men, unless he's got some sort of weird fetish. It's almost always a necessity that she needs to have, a particular look and a particular body shape, or not going past a particular body shape, when we're talking about in terms of obesity or something like this. So, our attraction markers are far simpler and mostly visual, mostly. Anyway, I'm out here and I'm in the world, and I'm looking at the professional world and whatnot. And, I don't want to say too much, but let's just say, I catch comments left and right in my professional career where it's like guys are like saying, yeah, they're just barely holding it together, and this is like, I don't know if it's just on the job guy talk. I doubt it, but it's kind of like, they're like, yeah, this person whose gender will go unnamed, but it is not ours, gentlemen, is just barely hanging on. And it's like a consistent thing. And so it's like someone else is bailing them out, usually a guy. I haven't seen a situation where they're not like, some sort of hot wreck. Now, in my career field, there are some like really high powered, like, very well functioning, high level functioning women. But it would seem like the vast majority, a lot of men in the field do not seem to be able to appreciate their capacity to function properly and as an equal member in our field. So then I have to ask you, on what metric would we say a woman is out of our league? If this is the standard mentality that we're seeing from men in the professional sphere, at least mine, and in the personal sphere, when I'm looking at like personally, it's like, I don't have a woman I can't like just mentally, overpower. And like I said, I don't have a degree, and they all do. and I'll just mentally maul them, intellectually maul them, you know. I don't know too many guys that have stoicism in their personality where they can actually, like, you know, at least long enough to win an argument. If you want to argue with a woman, that can't do the same. Abu Future Trunks, Barakallah Feek for the 10-pound super chat. Jazakallah khair. You deserve 10,000 times more than this for life-changing advice you've given me and many other brothers. May Allah bless you. And you brothers, I mean. Jazakallah khair, bro. So generally it's like if you, and this is the important point of like hanging around men. Now get this. This is important. Hanging around men makes you better with women. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And why is that? Because men, we tend to function and discuss topics based upon intellect and knowledge and understanding, you know. But what we don't do is generally, if you're around like, you know, guys who are like stable, we don't discuss things from an emotional standpoint. And so men with our strong opinions, ideas, concepts, you know, we tend to like hard and deep research things, you know, far further if it's not some sort of esoteric stuff. When we clash and when we meet, we do it on a very high, you know, intellectual level. And we have to stay calm if we want to dominate in the conversation. And whether anybody likes it or not, in general, not always, obviously, but in general, there is a type of intellectual / social hierarchy that takes place amongst men. And if it's a difference of opinion, which is perfectly fine, because you don't have to hate each other for differences of opinions, but if you have them, you learn to debate and you know, conversate on a level that that keeps your calm and your cool, but at the same time keeps your mind like power engaged and in combat mode. And this right here is something that you have to carry over in women. Now, obviously, the women, you're in a relationship with them, and so they know your triggers, they know how to make you mad and whatever else in a way that, you know, and you're more invested in those relationships in general. So you generally lose your cool with your women where you don't with your brothers and your dudes. But even when you lose your cool, you tend to generally be functioning at a higher level intellectually in the discussion than the woman is. It's just, you know, they manage to pull out your emotions also. Bro, any opinions on black Muslims looking to marry Arab women? Did you get any resistance because of your race and because you can't speak Arabic? I mean, bro, everybody loves you and everybody calls you your brother until you want to marry their women. Arabs ain't no different. Arabs are cool until you talk about marrying their women. So, yeah, you're gonna face resistance as a black Muslim, as a black American Muslim revert, or if you're a black Western Muslim revert, whatever else, you're gonna face resistance, bro. It's just you're gonna have to deal with it. It's just it is what it is. You know, these people can't do any different. You know, they know better but don't do better. So you have to think about it like that. It's like, think about that statement. They know better but don't do better. These are the people you're dealing with, man. They've been given the haq, and the haq is in their natural native language. And then they, like, you know, you got all the hadith and everybody, and they're like, yeah, Bilal. Whoa, my daughter, hold up, Bilal. Yeah, you're going to face resistance. Some of them you will, some of them you won't. They say the North Africans, and what I've seen from the North Africans in general, they're far more flexible in terms of the Arabs. We're talking about the Moroccans, Algerians, Tunisians, whatnot. They seem to be more flexible. The further east you go, from the Syrians, the Lebanese, you know, the Gulf, the Khalijis, they seem to be more resistant and more tribal in the sense of, like, you know, letting their women go. Does it happen? Yes, absolutely. But generally, they are considered to be the cast-offs and castaways at that point. You know, are there individual families and you know, and people who will, like, you know, be more relaxed with that? Absolutely. But it's like what do they call it? Is it called a crapshoot? You know, it's sort of like shooting dice, you know, hit and miss. I mean, I was married to a Lebanese girl. Family was perfectly fine with it, you know, but the girl was just she was just a hot mess. She was like, oh, she was terrible, you know. So but that says it all, you know what I mean? It's like, that's why they gave her to me, because she was a hot mess. Yeah, so again, their undesirables is what they tend to give you. And then how do you find out? Because you're not from their people, and generally their people know each other, And then, so when you're trying to marry into these people and someone's like, more than happy to give you their girl, I hate to say it, but you should probably be slightly suspicious. I married another girl. They had like, they were Somali, but they had like a Khaliji type culture and mentality because they grew up in the Khalij. There were people who were raised in the Khalij. And when they gave me their girl, I was like, oh yeah, I'm real happy. And it turned out that girl was a real hot mess. You know what I mean? So, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah, you're gonna face resistance, period. You know what I mean? You're gonna face resistance. But if you want to go for it, man, you have to go for what you want to get. And there's no way or two ways about it. You know what I mean? You're just gonna have to go for it. Yeah. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just wanted to ask you, seen the Tate clip where he disrespects the niqab in the Muslim world and refers to how it covering the face dehumanizes women. No, I haven't seen that clip. No, I haven't seen it. And it doesn't matter. What is the opinion of the non-Muslims matters to the Muslims. They've been disrespecting the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam since he was alive. You think they ain't gonna go for niqabis? This is what they do, man. The non-Muslims are gonna non-Muslim. You know what I mean? Okay, he disrespected niqab. Was that, are women supposed to stop wearing it now? You see what I'm saying? It's like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter anything. And generally, everybody knows. I mean, I hang. When he comes to Germany, I hang out with him. I never heard this before, though. I mean, I know the guy. I generally thought he was cool. He generally has a proclivity, a strong positive mentality and idea and proclivity towards Islam. So, but then, here's the thing. He's in the cam business. He's in the business of selling women. So the cab kind of, it's the antithesis of what he does. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of makes sense for him as a non-Muslim who sells women in terms of online nudity. It makes sense he's going to have that idea. But I mean, then you can argue on your side and from the side of the Muslims that selling women and their nudity, that dehumanizes women because it boils them down to a physical commodity, which most women do on their own anyway. They tend to commoditize. Is that a word? Their sexuality anyway, OnlyFans, right? So, I mean, I don't think it matters what the non-Muslims think about, Muslims and Islam and what we do and how we do it. I don't think it matters, even if it's Andrew Tate. And like I said, I tend to like the guy, I mean, as far as I know, he likes me. I like him. We hang out, not anymore, but we used to. But it doesn't mean his opinion on Islam and Muslims and what we do in our practices matter. Doesn't matter. We're still what if he said he doesn't like the salah, we're gonna stop praying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you're saying that our women should stop wearing the niqab or whatever else, but I'm just saying, what does it matter? How important is it? Not very. You see what I'm saying? Okay, that's nice. That's your opinion. Keep it pushing. I see what you're saying, but I don't see why it's relevant. Just because he's internet relevant doesn't mean his opinion on Islam and the Muslims and what we do in terms of our practices is relevant. You see what I mean? Assalamu alaikum. Saudi Arabs won't even let other Arabs marry their women. Actually, that's not true. They changed the laws now, but there has to be like some conditions, like they have to be over a certain age or divorced or whatever else. So there's conditions to marrying Saudi women. You can't marry them, but there are conditions. I know a brother who's actually going through the process right now. He's an American brother, and he is going through the process of marrying a Saudi sister, inshallah. Phoenix Knight with a $10 Australian, I think, super chat. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ever heard of OG Silverback in the green pill concept? No, I have not, actually. I've never heard of him, nor this green pill concept. He is ex-military and ex-con in FedMax prison, has game at 60, mashallah, as he should, and smashes women. Wait. I thought this guy was a Muslim. How can Muslims implement game when we square? I mean, look, here's the thing, and I've talked about this before. You need to learn game in general. Game is more than just for women. Game is important for social interactions. You know, and I've told the story before. I'm going to tell it again. So I used to work in London. I worked at a tech company on Old Street, and at that tech company, they decided to send like a lot of the jobs, including mine and my department's jobs, to India. So there's like, it's just cheaper to send it to India, so we're going to do that. And so they had to pay us like, separation and all that type of stuff, help us find jobs or whatever else. So I took the money, tried to get separation, whatever else, tried to get a job, but whatever. So in that whole process, we had like seminars and whatnot on how to like land a better job somewhere else. And they brought in specialists and all this type of stuff that they had to do according to, government law, if you're going to send people's jobs off to foreign countries. And he was talking about like your resume is basically, do you have the skills? The interview is, are you compatible? And he was like, are there any Americans here? And I was like, yeah, I'm an American. He said, never spoke to the guy in the room before, whatever else. And, he was like, if this guy and you both go to the job interview, he's going to get the job and you aren't. And he says, there's just something about Americans, their personality, they're open, they're this, that, the other, they're energetic in their speech or whatever else. He says, in British, we're more reserved. We have our social, behaviors or whatever else. He says, that guy's going to get the job because just the way they are. It's social dynamics. And I cracked the joke and he was like, that's it right there. That's what I'm talking about. I can't remember the joke anymore. But he's like, that's why he would get the job and you wouldn't, because a British person wouldn't do that. They would be like, they wouldn't make a joke in this setting, in this environment, but it makes him more relaxed. He seems more confident, more in control of himself and the situation around him. It says, and that's something that people and companies want, despite our cultural setting and circles. Now, what's the point of all this in relation to what you're talking about with game? When you learn game, yes, it helps with women, but game helps you in life in general. You need to have social acumen. And really, that's what game is. It's being able to read the room, being able to read women, respond properly, have the proper confidence and responses. And just, it's not even always the proper response. It's just the confidence to say stuff in a way that's not like awkward or goofy or whatever else. And this is why I told guys, like, you want to practice game? Go talk, especially the British. Start up a conversation on the underground. Yeah, exactly. But you know what I did? Just because there was this in London, if you don't know, there's a huge stigma with starting like conversations with strangers on the underground, the underground trains. It's like, whoa, what is he doing? But I would do it. Then I'd like start cracking jokes, get people around me laughing, whatever else, just because there was that entire stigma connected to it. Guess what? He was really attracted to women. So learn game. It doesn't have to be about women, but it does help you with women. Because if you can go into like a high power, like, office environment or whatever else, and you can like, really, you don't have to dominate the environment, but you do have to be able to leave a mark, you know what I mean? And not like be scared in the corner, like, oh my God, there's like the boss over there, whatever. What's a woman going to do? You know what I mean? I'm in an environment where it's like, I'm like with some really high powered dudes. You know what I do? I just crack my jokes on who I am. I just had a situation, real talk. The guy that hired me, I made a mistake. I made a pretty big mistake. And I made a pretty big mistake during an audit. And he was like, dude, he's like, whatever you do, fix it now. So then I went through a whole process. We got the situation fixed. And I'm walking out of the office at the end of the day. This was just like 2 or 3 days ago. This wasn't that long ago. This is 2 or 3 days ago. I got to keep details like vague. So I go up to his desk because he's sitting at his desk. It's a new desk. And I'm like, hey, man, I said, sorry about that. I really, won't happen again, this, that, the other. And there's a lady sitting across from him. It says, you're so-and-so. I was like, yeah, that's me. She was like, oh, tisk, doing this thing like this. I said, yeah, hey, I'm the company gunslinger. It's like, you need work done. Guess who you call? You call me? I said, I got it done. I was like, but I just didn't know you guys had a procedure. I said, I didn't know you guys were going through an audit. I skipped and jumped procedure. So what does she do? She smells blood in the water, and she does what women do when they smell blood in the water. Now she starts to get serious. Yes, well, you do it, but you do it. And I was just like, I I just went cold-blooded. But this is reading the room. Now, see, instead of like backing down, sorry, this, that, the other, and now get this. The tables are like this. He's sitting here, she's sitting here, and at the end of that table is the manager for like our entire department. This guy can just like snap his fingers, you're gone. And I was just like, you know what? Hey, thanks for your input, but my man here has got this. We don't need your help. We handled it. And she kept on going. Then I just literally turned my back on her. And I was like, then I was talking to him. I said, yeah, we got this. I said, your man here does a good job. I said, let him do his job. And she was just flushing. She didn't know what to say. So later on, I'm like laughing and joking with him. Then I call it. Then I walk out. Later on, I hit him up and said, man, who was that lady? Like, she really she really made me want to pull out both barrels on her and just bang, bang. He's like, that was my boss. That is the guy who hired me. And he's like, this is my boss. He's like, it's my new boss. I was like, oh. I was like, well, that's awkward. He's like, yeah, you might be hearing from her again. I was like, okay, whatever. It's like, So the next day I'm walking in. I walk past. It's a sister, actually. I don't want to say her name, but it's a Muslim woman, but she's uncovered. So I'm walking past the desk. I was like, hey. I said, yesterday you caught my name, but I didn't catch your name. I said, we had a real awkward introduction, didn't we? She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, that was just crazy. I said, we had stuff going on, this, that, the other. You guys weren't supposed to have that material. And I said, I just went and pulled the trigger on it. I said, yeah, but you know how it goes around here. This is just how we operate. She's like, yeah. I said, it won't happen again. It's all good. I said, my bad about that. Smooth it out. Boom. Game works, but you gotta it doesn't have to be about. Now, obviously, she probably every time I walk by, she's like, because you know what, guys don't stand up to her at the job, but that's what game gives you the ability to actually stand up against people, and not make it weird, not make it awkward, not make it uncomfortable, because you have social acumen. Then you also know how to recover awkward situations. That was an awkward situation, but you also know how to recover them. So what I do, I went back and recover the situation. Game isn't always about just getting the underwear. So learn game and implement it in your daily life. And guess what? It's going to be easy to implement it in other places, including with women. Hope that answered your question. Man, I went off on a spree there. I know you have distanced yourself from the Red Pill community due to their immoral takes. Despite this, what Red Pill resources, books would you recommend and utilize for your own personal benefit? Man, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of books, bro. Rational Male is a good one. The thing about Rational Male's books, Rollo Tomasi's books, is that you need experience to actually benefit from his books. So if you don't have experience and you start reading his books, it would seem very hypothetical. Like a lot of stuff from my life clicked when I read his books. I was just like, oh, wow. How did I miss that? Well, I missed it because I didn't know it, because he compiles like a lot of stuff, in a way that makes sense. So when you look at hindsight with life experience, you understand what a woman was going through, what phase she was in, due to her age, all these types of things, estrus and her cycle and how it affects her, her bifurcated reproductive strategy. All this stuff starts to make sense to you. But if you don't have experience with women in life, it's all very hypothetical. And will you spot it when it happens? Quite possibly, but most likely not. So but there's a lot of books, man. I don't know if I want to list them all here. Actually, I think I made a list somewhere. Commodify, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Good evening, buddy. Good evening. Your buddy shared the channel with me, and I am here listening in. Okay, well, welcome, Cindy. I'm curious, brother, how many times were you married by age 30 and then by age 40? How much easier is it to retain your wives at 30 compared to 40? When I was 30, I only had one wife. I've been married up to one wife up until I was 38. I only had one wife up till 38. I'm 40. I'm 49 now. So basically 10 years I've been. And then after that, her and I got a divorce because I married two women. So we ended up in a divorce. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get married and get multiple wives. And then, man, I just went through a marriage divorce streak because, let's be honest, man, I had been married to this woman for like, at that point, almost half my life. Well, actually, literally half my life. And so by the time I went back out onto the market, I wasn't looking for women or whatever else when I was married all those, 20-something years, 26 years. It was like 20 something years. I hadn't been looking at women. I've been looking for women. And so when I went back on the market, it was like night and day change, So I was like dealing with modern women. And I had, we were just coming out of my generation where women were still a little bit more traditional. And whoa, wow, I wasn't ready, And so I just had like a marriage divorce streak, which brought me to the vetting guide and I told the story like a million times, but when everything fell apart, I was really like sitting there, like contemplating, like, man, I was like, I married these women. I did everything right, man. I was a good dude. I paid the bills. I took them on dates. I bought flowers. I was lovey-dovey. I was like, talky guy. I was this. I was her best friend. I was like, why did it fail? It doesn't make sense. I did it right. And then that's when I literally Googled it, like, why is it going wrong? And I did like multiple Google searches and I came across that book. I told the story before, Coach Corey Wayne, 3% Man. And then I ended up coming into the red pill world through that book, and listening to his channel and then seeing other stuff. I actually made a jump from Coach Corey Wayne to like MGTOW stuff. And then MGTOW, I went to red pill. And so, but it was all like, it was a whirlwind of like just information that I was just absorbing, like, yo, what the heck, And then with the new knowledge, then I started actually writing my own book. And I got like 70, 80 pages in. And then I found Rollo Tomasi's book and I read it and I was like, man, his stuff is way better than mine. I was basically writing his book, from my experiences in life. And when I read his book, I literally threw those pages away. Rollo said he wanted to read them. I was like, dude, I threw them away. I was like, your stuff just blew it out the water. I was like, your stuff was amazing, dude. I said, so I took my stuff and I threw it away. I literally threw it away, like 80 something pages of writing. And it was actually handwritten to top it off. It was literally handwritten. I wasn't even using a PC. And yeah. And then basically it's like with my new knowledge, I started going back into relationships, but it wasn't enough. And it wasn't enough in the sense that vetting was missing. And then that's when I came with my vetting system, because then I was like, okay, let me start looking at this differently. I was like, I'm looking at it from a game perspective, but game perspective is what? It's short term. It's about how to bed women. Well, that's not enough. We're trying to get married as Muslims. And so I started seeing gaps in it. And I was like, okay, this is good. I can get the girl, but I can't keep her because she's not the right girl for what I'm looking for. If I want to just get, smash and dash, fine. Yeah, this works. But I'm a Muslim. I want to have a family. I want to establish a family. I want to keep a wife. I want to keep multiple wives. Game helps me get multiple wives. It really does. But it doesn't help you keep or find women that are marriage material. And so then that's when I started thinking like, okay, what's going on here? I'm doing all the right steps now, and this is why I started coming up with the salt and pepper, French fry, combinations in my head. And I was like, okay, yeah, the alpha, the beta, how to mix it all together, just right for women and whatnot, and what they like and what they don't like. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing my part right, and it's still going wrong. So what's wrong? And then I said, okay, it's the women I'm picking. And again, coming back to ownership, I still didn't even put it on those women, because those women are just a product of their environment. They're a product of whatever, their social life or their upbringing or their experiences. So I don't blame the women. I took the accountability on myself. It's not my fault, but it is my responsibility to make sure that I pick the right woman. And this is where vetting came in. And this is where I started like coming up with the vetting guide and whatnot and vetting processes. And it was all passive in my mind, which is why it takes so long to write the vetting guides. I'm writing part 2 or 1.5 now, vetting while married. These aren't active processes in my mind. Because it comes from life experience. It's like stuff that I slowly started to implement over time. It's like work. You go to work, you do certain processes, and they teach you how to do this process. Well, after a while, what do? You get efficient at it, and you're like, okay, I actually can cut this step out and jump to this step, and nothing is lost in between other than this guy didn't realize that you could skip this process or that I could shorten this process. It's the same thing. You just start doing it naturally and automatically, and you don't think about it. So the vetting was the same way. So yeah, from like 38 to like now, not now, actually, I've gotten pretty good at like keeping women now. But from like 38 to about 45, man, that was Man, seen a lot of sisters come and go. Let me tell you that, bro. That was a lot of experimentation, a lot of, just a lot of stuff, trying to figure this out, and I was trying to get it right. I wasn't just smashing and dashing. I was trying to marry and figure it all out. But what is co-wife? What is co-wife? It's an application for men and women who are okay with polygynous marriage. Craig knows how to marry him. No one knows how to live with them. Okay. Trying to think of something that only I would know about you. What would that be? What would Rolo know about me that nobody else would know? I'm not sure. We've talked though. Our first interview. There's probably some stuff we discussed in the first. Well, but a lot of people would know that too, though. So let's keep it going. Should I reject a woman out of principle that says no to polygamy because she's trying to restrict me, even if you're not thinking about polygyny? I mean, for me in general, I'm not taking any sort of restrictions from a woman that are allowed to me. I mean, if Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saw fit to allow me something, who are you, to disallow me? Really? You gonna tell me no? So Allah, the one we both say is the creator of the heavens and the earth, the master of the day of judgment, He says I can do something, but you can't. Why would I listen to you? How about no? I mean, just out of principle, I'm gonna say no. Out of principle, I'm not gonna accept your condition that has been allowed to me. Why should I? It don't make no sense. What do you got? I just don't understand why they have the unmitigated gall to actually think to refuse you. You see, this is something different. Now you're going to have to own this. She's refusing you because she doesn't see you worthy. It's a different conversation. If you were that dude, if you came along and you was like that guy, you think she'd be saying no? She'd be like, yo, I just want this dude. I want him now. I need him now. This guy I have to have. And I don't care if I have to share him. I think it's Rolo himself who said it. Women would rather share an alpha than, what was it? Than be the only wife to some doting beta, something along those lines, paraphrasing. And it's true. I mean, from my specific, experiences in life, I've had no problem marrying women. I got married again recently. All my women are attractive. Why does it work for me? Should work for everybody else too. You're just not that guy for her. There was a girl, she's a very attractive woman. She was completely disinterested in the idea of being polygynous with me. You know why? Because I wasn't that guy. So if a woman's trying to refuse you, she just sees you as unworthy of actually sharing. She's like, I'm not going to share you. There's 100 of you out there. I can go get another guy just like you who's monogamous. Why would I share you? And, that might sting, but it's the reality, bro. That might hurt. I mean, we got ego issues, and that's perfectly fine, but make sure your ego matches the reality that's facing this woman. And generally, with a lot of men, it's not. It's like fighting. Every guy swears up and down he can fight until he gets knocked out and he's laid out in the street. Everybody swears up and down. It's literally like fighting. Guys go into the ring only thinking about what he's going to do to the other guy, and he has no concept or clue or understanding as to whether or not that guy actually has combat skill and is thinking the same thing. Like, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to knock him out. And here, trained fighter. Guy's been fighting since he's 6. Now he's 26. You got in the ring today. But because you watch 18 Jackie Chan movies, you like the man. You see what I mean? And that's how a lot of guys go into the world. I'm gonna marry multiple women because I'm that guy, and you're not that guy. You know, this is why we always tell the guys, go get your stuff together, get your life together, get your fitness together, get your money together, get everything together, so that you can actually be that guy. That's like the training for the combat. That's that's actually the in the ring fighting. It's just in the relationship world. So, make it happen. Would a first wife be more down for polygyny once she's above 45 years old and all your kids are with her are 16 plus years old? They'd be less threatened by the concept. I don't think it matters, man. I don't think there's any particular, like, it's either you're that guy or you're not. I don't think it changes with age. You got women out here with unrealistic standards and expectations of men. You got women out here, they've got multiple baby daddies, multiple babies with multiple baby daddies. They're overweight. They have nothing to offer, and they're making demands that brothers marry them monogamously. One thing you're gonna have to understand is that a great percentage of women are delusional about how it's like women are like men in fighting when it comes down to their social status in terms of the marriage market, the sexual market. Let's just call it the sexual market, but the marriage market. Just like I was saying, just like every guy thinks he can knock every other guy out, every woman thinks she's some super hot, whatever, super fly chick, and they're not. They 90%. I don't know if that, maybe it's a bit high. No, it's not a bit high. 90% of these women are really just, they're regular. Women, if you come this far, there's a very, very, very good chance that you are just regular. And see, women don't want to hear that nowadays. They don't want to hear it, but it's true. If you get up in a regular neighborhood, you ain't waking up in some multi-million-dollar neighborhood with some special postcode, guess what? You are the female version of the guy that lives next door to you. You're the female version of the guy who works at the next desk over. You're regular. Just because guys are thirsty and they show their thirst at a higher level than you women do doesn't mean you're not regular and you're not on their level. You've conflated things. And this is why I like to use that, that whole, sisters working at Asda thinking they the joint, that she should get like a 50,000 maher. No, you work at Asda. I'm sorry. The brother coming through, he probably rolled up in a Mercedes S-Class, special edition AMG or a Bentley, whatever else, and he's buying his Tostitos or whatever else, and you treating him like, ugh. Guess what? You ain't on his level. You level up your game, sister. But this is the reality of most women. They refuse to accept this just because so many men are thirsty for them. But the reality is, take a look in your immediate circle when you walk to work or drive to work or take the bus to work, which is really the case with a lot of y'all women. You're taking the bus to work or you drive in your car. The guy who's driving the same car you are, the guy who's working in the office next to you, the guy who's living next to you. You're that guy, but in female form. You're regular. You're nobody. The only thing that makes you visible is your sexuality. And guess what? The older you get, the less visible you become. But, women don't want to hear that. It's equally as uncomfortable for them to hear that they're regular as it is to hear that, you know what, you're probably going to get knocked out if you get into a fight. Guys, if you're not training, you're going to get knocked out, or you're going to get beat up really badly. You're going to get humiliated. And most of these women, just because male thirst is so the thing nowadays, they're confused. They're confused about their abilities, aka status, also. But this is why they start asking after a while, where all the good men at? This, that, the other. Oh, men are trash. This, that. No, you're just delusional. All these dudes ain't trash. There are good men out there. All the complaints they make about men are 90% in, just they're not valid. You're just a regular woman, and you're thinking about a guy who's way out of your league, and you think you're in his league because all the dudes around you are just thirsty for you. But man, this is a whole conversation, man. We can make like a whole video about this, as to male thirst and like the reality of your situation in light of male thirst. It doesn't mean you're special. It just means dudes thirst after you. But that's how we're built, I mean, I tell Ling Ling sitting here, I tell her this story all the time. Dudes will bang anything. I remember that I read a newspaper article. This dude got his winky stuck in a park bench hole. The dude was banging a park bench. And then basically, the blood flow just trapped all the park bench, trapped the blood in his winky. And so he had a permanent like stiffy inside there. He couldn't get it out. The fire department had to come release him. You're not special. Guys will bang a park bench. You think he won't bang you? It's not special. It's not special that guys desire after you. Guys desire after everything. The same guy that'll bang the four that's like, a fat, ugly, ugh, hey, you know what? You give him a chance, he'll bang you too. He'll bang both of you. He doesn't care. Dudes are thirsty. It's not special. It's not special, women. It's not special. It's just how we are built. So back to this conversation. I know I went off on a rant there. It doesn't matter how old they are because they're delusional about their status. They're right there. The 45-year-old woman thinks like she's on par and on status with the 18-year-old woman. They're that delusional. So polygyny and this conversation with these women, it's an individual case-by-case thing. And generally, this woman here that you're talking about and thinking about, she's going to be more the exception than the norm in 2022. That's why it's a number game, guys. It's a numbers game these days, Why are men such simps today? We have precedents in the Sunnah where Sauda, the Prophet's wife, Salam gave up days to Aisha, but there is no precedence for men accepting restrictions. Why the imbalance these days? Allahu Alam. Just because it's thirst. Because because guys are simps. I don't know why guys are simps, man. I mean, you could, I could speculate and contemplate the whole, thing why guys are simps nowadays and why guys don't value themselves. I don't know, man. Don't make any sense. And this whole thing with guys accepting restrictions, but women not, accepting any restrictions. It's just thirst, dude. Thirst is like thirst. I wrote about this in the vetting guide. Thirst is, the enemy to man. When I say enemy to man, I mean men in specific, the male gender. It just clouds your judgment. It makes you just goofy being thirsty. When women become some sort of like prize in your mind, it's very easy to become like just desperate for female validation. So you can get laid, I guess. I don't know what the whole goal is. And really, it's like, the more women you get, and Andrew Tate actually said this, I heard him saying it's very true. He's like, he was using that interview with that girl, the grilling or something like this. It's like, the more women you have and the more accessible to women your life is and the more access you have to women, the less like just thirsty you become. And this is why I think this is another reason why I think men should have multiple women, because it kills your thirst. It makes you realize there's a hadith where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, to some Sahaba who were sitting on the road, he said, if you see something that excites you from the women on the road, he said, go home to your wife because she has something similar. It's true. It's kind of how, it's like, you can appreciate women still, but it's just kind of like, I got like 3 other women at home. I mean, I got 4 wives. So I'm just like, what's that woman there over there got that my woman doesn't have? Why do I got to be thirsty for her? Why? Because you got shorts on or something? Now, ooh. You know what I mean? It's kind of like just... So I think it's just, it comes from literally being thirsty, from literally not having access to women. And then because you have no access to women, and because guys are awkward and goofy and dorky and whatever else, and women don't find that attractive, it becomes like this whole thing, like, just gotta have it. If you have like access to another story, another example. My kids, my first kids, my twins, we also like to have candy and sweets in the house. It was always there. My kids, there's like they ate it a lot, but they didn't eat it like it was crazy. One time, this brother, he brought his kids over, and kids being kids, open up the cabinet and they saw all the candy in there. Dude, they were just like, and they literally ate like just a whole stack of candy, and like in minutes. It was insane. And then when I was gone, I was like, man, I ain't buying no more. I'm like, man, that was just insane. That was horrible to watch. It was horrible to watch. Just like, what the frick is that? Then they started drinking all the orange juice, because the dude never bought orange juice now. Because I always had orange juice in my house. I was like, y'all ain't that thirsty. I said, here, drink some water. They didn't want the water. They wanted orange juice because it was sweet, because he was like anti-sugar. And so when you don't have something, you become desperate when you're faced with it. So the moment they had access to candy and whatever else, they were nuts. They were desperate for it. This was their first opportunity to actually like let it all out. They just went nuts. This is guys and hoo-ha and women. It's just generally they don't have a cabinet full of women, so they just run around just I'll do anything. Oh, hey, what? You marry me and no sex? Okay. And the dude's just 150,000 more. Okay, I'll get to smell your kneecap. Okay, I'll do it. Uncle, I need to go to the bank, co-sign for me. What are you thinking? You can pay 150,000 or 50,000 to marry a woman? Really? You tell me cats ain't out here desperate to paying 50,000 for a maher? Are you? These brothers are them kids that was in my house with orange juice and candy. They just with women. Take this money. Her kneecap. Of course, dudes is thirsty. They desperate. They are them kids with the candy, but the candy is their hoo-ha. They want the cookie really badly. They'll do anything to get it. They'll go crazy. And that's why so many marriages don't last either. Because then, dude, he get the cookie, and guess what? He's in there like, oh, come here, sister. And he's like, I paid my 50,000. You think he gonna drool all over? That's gonna be attraction. He's like, get off me, nigga. Damn, what the hell? And rightfully so. I went off there. But I think you get the point. Dudes is just like, they messy, man. They're messy when it comes to women. Dudes will have their whole life together, and in the moment a woman shows up, whoop, everything switches off. Is there anywhere specific a man should look for a traditional woman or traditional women? I speak as a Saudi. Even women here are becoming increasingly liberalized. I mean, with the advent of the internet and whatnot, and all this type of stuff, bro, it's kind of hard, it's kind of difficult. You know what you got to do, bro? You can't look for that woman anymore. You got to learn how to make her. You got to train her. That's just it, man. You got to become high value and train her to be what you want her to be. And it's going to be problems. There's going to be problems in that. I told this story in the last live. It's like, I married a woman, and she's a difficult woman. They're all difficult though, and I was telling somebody I need time to train them to be what I need them to be. It took years. Because these women spend their entire life just being whatever the hell they want to be and whoever the hell they want to be. But that doesn't make her your woman. She's your woman when she responds to you the way you want her to. Then you can claim her as your woman. And that's going to take time. And you got to be that guy that she wants in order for her to want to change to make the relationship last. Because if not, then there's no fear of her leaving the relationship and just like, you know what? Why I got to be that girl for you? No, she has to be like, I want to be that girl for this guy. And under no circumstances do I want to leave this guy. So I think you got to stop looking for traditional women at this point, because the internet's like just basically just railroading, wrecking the world. It's just bulldozing the world. And so you got to be ready to make these women no matter where you go. Phoenix Knight with a $5 super chat. Should low-hanging fruits, older women, Kitabi women, be considered for polygyny for married brothers still building themselves, or better wait? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is the problem with these women. They don't think they're low-hanging fruit. I mean, I'll tell you something. Like, people complain. This I'll tell you about cowife.com, the app. Christian and Jewish women are allowed on the app. So you can find those women on the app. Brothers complaining, oh, there's uncovered women on there. Yeah, the Christians, the Jewish. Since when the Christian and Jewish women have to like cover? They don't have to cover. So yeah, go for them if they meet the conditions. Now that's not our job to, find out if those women meet the condition. It's your job to find out if you meet the conditions. But they're permissible to you if they meet the conditions Islamically. Yeah, go for it, bro. But you're coming back to the same problem. You're still coming back to the same problem that, these women need to be women. They need to be the woman you need them to be, aka your girl, your woman. You got a lot of these women out here, they're so used to just like walking around like, just like they got halos and wings and stuff, man. Because dudes out here thirsting all over them. Just basically acquiescing in any sort of masculinity, manhood, any sort of boundaries or limits. Dudes are willing to give all that stuff up. Now here you come with your limits and your boundaries and your standards. You look like a weirdo. You know what I mean? You can be like, what? What? Standards? Boundaries? What? I can't have male friends? What? No girls travels? You look crazy. Because all these dudes are like, they're out here talking about they can do that stuff. So do they know they're low-hanging fruit? I highly doubt they do, bro. This is what I was saying earlier. They're delusional. These women are delusional about the reality. But again, the moment you start dealing with one of these women, make them stop, question them, make them observe their environment, and then ask them, are you in an exceptional environment? No, I am not. Are you living in exceptional accommodations and driving exceptional cars? No. Are you in an exceptional job? No, I'm not. Are you making exceptional income? No, you're probably not. You know what that means? You're not an exceptional woman. You're a very average one. Bring them to that point, and guess what you're going to face? You're going to face a whole lot of anger, a whole lot of resistance. You can bring them to that point to where they understand everything about their life is very average. And then the moment you tell them, guess what? You're really average. Boom. Wait for the explosions. Wait for the fireworks. They don't know they're low-hanging fruit, bro. They don't know it. This comes back to that point I was saying earlier. They're completely lost and delusional. They have no clue that they're really average. And they are. They are super regular. So I see what you're saying with your point here, but do they know this? You know what I mean? You're like, low-hanging fruit. And she's over here like, I am God's gift to man. She walking around here thinking like, 45 with like 6 kids from like 9 dudes. Okay. 6 kids from 9 dudes. I'm joking. I said that on purpose. But you know what I'm saying? She got like a whole bunch of kids from a whole bunch of different dudes. She's walking around like, I look to your direction. Bow down, you servants. Give me your money. She's literally in La La Land, bro. She literally thinks like, Brad Pitt or somebody's going to come along and try and swoop her up. They literally are in that mentality, bro. They are, trust me, they're delusional. Have a conversation with one of them. Like I said, make them understand their environment, how they live, where they live, everything like this, and then tell them you're regular and watch the delusion monster kick in. It's going to be mad. So, low-hanging fruit, do they know they're low-hanging fruit? You got to come to that point. I just ended a Nikah negotiation. Nikah negotiation is marriage negotiation for those who don't know, because the lady threatened to leave once we are married and I decided to add another wife. Okay. Go. Don't listen, man. Don't be listening to these women and their threats. If she accepts that you're going to take another wife, if she's going to marry you, if she's like, hey, look, you know what? I might possibly take another wife. Well, if you do, I'll leave you. But you understand I might do it. Yes. And if you do, I'll leave you. Okay. Marry her, bro. Don't listen to what a woman says. Watch what she does. She might leave. She might not. If you're that dude, if you're taking care of business, you're handling business, guess what? She's probably not going to leave. You know, she might, though. And you got to be ready for that. You got to be ready for it. She leaves, then okay, so what? I got her. I got you. Guess what? I'll get somebody else. That's why everybody's mad at Abuamerican, because I have that mentality. It's like, hey, you know, I'd really like you to stay, but if you want to go, guess what? Got you here. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get somebody else here. Do I want it like that? No, I'd love for you to stay. But if, hey, you know what? You're going to jump ship. Guess what? Ahoy there. Ship of Abuamerican. Turn the wheels, port stern, or whatever they say in shipment stuff. There's a bent on a deserted island. Here's your life raft. Bye, bish. You go get the next bent off the next island. Guess what? Because a bent is there's a lot of sisters out there trying to get married. And if you are handling your business half decent, guess what? Okay, let her go. Let her jump ship. Listen, it just as rough as it is for you brothers out there, you have to understand it has to be equally as rough for these women out there, because all these women want a particular type of guy. And if they're not going to marry you, and brothers are always talking about, oh, can't get married, can't find women, guess what? Look how many brothers are saying this. How many brothers are saying that they can't find women in the West? And look how many sisters are saying, oh, there's no good guys out here. You know why? Because, again, we come back to this delusion. All these regular brothers are right here with these regular sisters, but these regular sisters think they're up here, and so they're over here looking up here past all the people who are actually right here with them, where they should be looking. So it has to be equally as hard for them as it is for you, but for different reasons, because they're delusional and you're not. So when you actually, like, you know, when you're handling your business, you're doing things right, guess what? You'll find a sister, she's gonna be like, oh, you know what? Whoa, this guy? Yeah, let me just go ahead and jump on board right here. I don't know, ask Andrew Tate, man. He killing it. He said, what's the key to success in life? I said, ask Andrew Tate. He's killing it. Ask Andrew Tate, but be a Muslim. That's the primary key to a successful life. Become a Muslim and then figure out how you make his money without cam girls. Okay? Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to Abu Nice. What gym routine and diet would you recommend for an absolute beginner? Okay, so gym routine, I talk about my gym routine. I took my gym routine from a professional, Chris Gethin. And so group your muscles together, push muscles together, pull muscles together, shoulders and traps together, and yeah, like that, and then legs together. Don't just be in the gym like doing random stuff. I go to the gym, as you can tell. I go to the gym, I work out. Dude's been going in there since before me, and they're like, yo, how do you results? I showed up, I was out of shape, I didn't have all this muscle, and then, like, what is it? How long have I been going to the gym now? Like 3 months, 4 months? 3 months. And I've like exploded. I've just gotten way bigger, faster, whatever else. I got genetics going for me, but I also follow a program. These guys are coming in here. I'm not even joking. Guy will go do on the calf machine, then he'll go to the shoulder press machine, then he'll go to the flat bench, then he'll start doing dumbbell curls. I'm like, dude, what the heck are you doing? I don't know what he's doing. Me, I go in with a system. Push muscles, chest and tricep, pull muscles, back and biceps, shoulders and traps, boom, interlinking. You know what I'm saying? Then I do legs and abs. I got cardio here and there, in between. It's a system. So it, like, if you follow a proper workout system, you're going to see results. So make sure you follow a proper workout system. Don't just be going in there like the Arabs saying, khali wali. Don't go in there, khali wali, just be like, hey, I'm doing something. Yeah, okay, you're doing something. It's good that you're in the gym, but you're not really doing anything. If you're going in there, 1 minute you're on the calf machine, and the next minute you're like you're on a shoulder press. Like what the? And then you're doing just like random sets. Like my sets, like learn what you're doing. The body works quite scientifically, so learn your sets. Like I do 4 sets of 10. Most guys doing it here, 3 sets of 5 or something like this. Yeah, well, I'm trying to get my strength and my endurance up. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get my strength up and my endurance up at the same time. So I do 4 sets of 10 until it becomes too easy. Then I'll make 4 sets of 8 to fail until 4 sets of 8 becomes too easy. Then I go to 4 sets of 10 until that becomes too easy. You see what I mean? So the weight's heavy enough that number 8, it's an absolute fail. And when that happens, then I know, okay, this is my weight. This is what I need to work out. And I'll work out on that until I get 4 sets of 10, and then 10 will become fail. So where 8 used to be fail, that's where my muscles were too weak. Then I'll work out until 10 becomes fail. And then when 10 becomes too easy, I'm like, okay, now I need to increase the weight. And it needs to increase the weight so much so that I go back to 4 sets of 8. So then my 4 sets of 8 starts again. And then, but that's at a higher weight now. So let's say it's 40 kg, right? I don't know, dumbbell presses, 40 kg. So I do 4 sets of 8, and number 8 is like, and I can barely get number 8. There comes a point where I'm doing 10, and 10 becomes fail. That takes a little bit of time. It does. You're not just going to shoot through the weights like that. Well, actually, you do after a while. But now I'm at 4 sets of 10 with the 40 kgs, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I can keep going. So what do? I go up to like 45 or 50 kg. Then that 45, 50 kg becomes number 8 is like struggling again. And then I repeat the process until I run out of weight, And generally that's what happens. You run out of weight. They don't make, I don't think well, at least not here in Germany, nobody has like in the gym that I've seen, like, dumbbells for, chest press over 50 kg each hand. So it's stuff like that. So, and in diet, I mean, just try not to eat trash, bro. That's pretty easy with diet. You eating trash, then you're never going to see any results. Like they say, six packs. Yeah, I mean, I drink a lot of Coke and soda and whatnot lately, and energy drinks. But I'm also like every day I'm walking like 7 to 10 kilometers easy. Now, should I be drinking that stuff? Probably not. But am I burning the calories? Yeah, probably. And my elevation is probably a good 2 kilometers of elevation because I'm going up and down like 4 stories, no elevator, daily, at least 2 kilometers of that. So can I afford it? Yes. Should I afford it? Probably not. I'd probably be ripped with like 6-pack abs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever else, if I didn't do that. Like they say, 6-packs are made in the kitchen. They're not made in the gym. So your diet, try to stay away from trashy food, high protein. You should be okay. And then check with a specialist because it's not my specialty thing. Like Mahdi Tijani, he's, that's his thing. No, actually, no. When a woman really wants to be with you, man, she just want to be with you. I'm actually suspicious of women that don't want to throw like big weddings and big shebangs nowadays. Because generally it's like that woman, she's interested in like everybody knowing she got married as opposed to actually being married. You see, she wants to be a bride. She's not interested in being a wife. This has been my experience. Not always. I mean, I had a wife, she did it. She threw it for herself and whatever else. So she's still, she's still around. But, it's like she didn't ask it of me. She wasn't like, oh, yeah, do it for me. She's like, look, I said we didn't have to do it. It's not something. And it's, I was like, hey, all right, we'll do it. But at the end, she was like, I actually wanted all. But since I said, I didn't want it, I'll pay for it. I was like, all right, man, let's do it then, But we didn't have like a big party or anything, did we? No, not one of my wives. The only one did it. And she, like I said, she did it for herself. I mean, now I had 2 wives that actually had, marriage like ceremonies and weddings and all that type of stuff. Nobody really seems to be interested in that when they really want to be married to you. If they don't really want to be married to you, then it's just like, yeah, you throw the party too, Yeah, it really doesn't change anything. Yeah, it doesn't make it special or better. She's saying it herself. It doesn't make it special or make it better. Phoenix out with a $5 super chat. Jazakallah khair. What are the best martial arts for police officers and correction officers? In what order should each be practiced, and when can you mix training styles? I mean, that's a tough one for me to call because I'm not in law enforcement. I never worked in law enforcement, but I would assume, looking at it, from the outside, you definitely need something like. Let me think. I would say Sambo. Sambo is a good one. Sambo would be really good because Sambo, it's like it mixes stand-up striking and kicking with floor game Brazilian style jiu-jitsu. So if you're a corrections officer, of course, obviously you need to, be able to handle your stand-up, and you need to be able to wrestle and leverage a strong opponent. So like knowing something like jiu-jitsu and joint locks and wrist locks, whatever else, should be an absolute must. But at the same time, if you're in a prison or a police situation, like corrections officer in terms of prison or whatnot, or just even just a regular police officer, you don't want to go to the ground with anybody. It's just not something you really want to do in an uncontrolled environment, because unless you've got absolute clear backup where, they're watching over you, so that nobody jumps you or whatever else or surprise attacks you. But then if you've got absolute backup like that, then you really don't need to know anything, because two dudes with no training can just overpower one dude, pretty easily, unless that guy's super trained. But I would say something like Sambo that combines the two from day one. It combines striking and joint locks, submissions and whatnot, how to knock people out, how to disable them in terms of like arm locks, leg locks, whatever else. I'd say something like Sambo. I think that's a good balance, Yeah. What do I want my daughter to be treated like? What? Like she's a goofy woman? Yeah, she's a goofy woman. My daughter's a goofy woman. I talk to my daughter. You know what my daughter is? My daughter is a woman. And she has goofy ideas at time. You know why? Because all women have goofy ideas at time. Just because she's my daughter doesn't mean she's not a woman. Just because she's my daughter doesn't mean she isn't a child to some other man. She's not a child to me. I'm her father. How's she gonna be a child to me? I said, hey, sit down. You know what she can do? She can sit down. If you are her husband and you say sit down, she might be like, who are you telling me to sit down? You ain't my dad. Imagine that. So how I and what I get out of my daughter is not going to be what her husband gets out of her. Should it be like that? Probably not. But that's the reality. I don't want my daughter to be treated like that. It depends on how she acts. Is my daughter going to be a knucklehead to her husband? Maybe she needs to be treated in a particular way in order that she gets some get right. Is that talking about abuse or anything? No, absolutely not. But if she has a husband who knows some game and knows how to get her to do what he wants her to do in the way that he needs her to do it, absolutely. Because I want my daughter to have a happy marriage that lasts. And if that comes through him knowing game and using it on her so that it works, absolutely. Yes. You an idiot? Are you stupid? Yeah. You moron. Allahu Alam. You'd have to ask the ulama that. I mean, that's a question for the ulama. Changing the creation without permission of Allah, it's a big deal, If Allah created you a particular way, then khalas, man, leave it alone, man.
There's a tool, so there's a machine that makes you stretch.
Yeah. Why yak? Yeah, do the both, man. Do boxing and BJJ. I mean, there's no reason why you can't do both. You definitely need striking, you need stand up, you definitely need some sort of ground game. I think you need both. But you don't definitely in like an uncontrolled environment, you do not want to go to the ground. You know what I mean? If it's an uncontrolled environment. When I say uncontrolled environment, that means it's not in the gym. It's not in like, jiu-jitsu match or club or something like this. You're like out on the street. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I love my jiu-jitsu, but that's why I do striking. It's because I don't want to go to the ground unless I know it's like, okay, it's only this guy, and I can look around and I know my environment, and that he don't got no surprise homies coming out. I'll gladly take a guy to the ground. It's like, I think it was which Gracie was it? I can't remember which Gracie it was. He was telling a story. It's like, I got into a fight with a guy and I got him in the rear naked choke and I rubbed his face back and forth on the ground. You know what I mean? And the ground just like, sandpapered his face. And he said the guy was going around telling everybody I got hit by a bus. And he was like, yeah, I'm that bus. I'll definitely be that bus for somebody. You know, more than happy to do it. But like in an environment where I don't know what's going on or whatever else, under no circumstances do I want to go to the ground. It's not a simple question. It's a stupid question. It's a dumb question, man. It's like, why do you dumb people come here then? What you think I'm gonna teach people something that I don't like, actually implement myself, that I don't think that someone might actually. You ever stop to think for a second that I'm talking to Muslims and my daughter is a Muslim, so she might marry a Muslim, maybe someone who watches my channel? Did you ever stop to think about that? It's a freaking stupid question. You know what? I don't suffer well? Idiots. Go be an idiot somewhere else, man. You're an idiot. You ask a dumb question. This is called extrapolation. You know what extrapolation means? You could take a particular piece of information and you can expand it into other fields and understandings. If you can't extrapolate information that Abuamerican is a Muslim and his daughter is a Muslim, and I'm talking to Muslim men who are younger than me, and they might possibly meet my daughter and marry my daughter with my permission and my happiness, that he might actually use these tactics on my daughter. It's stupid that you can't think that far to that basic level of complexity. It's pretty stupid. So I can't help you. It's not butthurt. It's just you're dumb. And so I'm talking to you like a dumb person. Idiot.
I think he doesn't ask questions.
He's stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. You think I'm new to the You think I'm new to the internet game? I wrote a whole book about internet trolls. I spot them. Yeah. But anyway. Jazakallah khair, Taj. Barakallahu feek. Yeah, people think they say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. It's amazing how people think you're stupid. When people insult your intelligence, you should become offended. Maybe you should become butthurt if someone tries to insult your intelligence, guys. Absolutely. But anyway, this is from the broken window theory. If you guys want to understand why I just went off on that cat, go look up the broken window theory. It's very important to understand. Some of you guys know it. So anyway, any more questions, guys? 1 hour, 22 minutes. That was like a fast 1 hour and 22 minutes, man. Which one? Okay. If a man continues to, I didn't see that one. It's like sometimes it jumps. If a man continues to game his wife, wouldn't the wife know all your tactics after a few years and see it coming? Is it still as effective? Yes, it's still effective. This is literally, she was laughing about it, because I wrote it in vetting 1.5. I'm writing about vetting during marriage, and I'm saying just because she knows better doesn't mean she'll do better. So I was writing a vetting test that you can do. So this vetting in marriage has practical examples in it, where the vetting guide is a lot of like theoretics and understanding basic concepts. Now in 1.5, I go into implementation. These are actual things you can do to test. And I was saying in here, because she edits my books. So she edits the book, she puts it together, whatever else. So obviously she ends up reading it, right? And I'm like, she's never known this test. She doesn't know I do it. She'll learn of this test when she reads this book. And you know what's going to happen? She will never be able to do better, despite knowing exactly what I'm doing. Because her emotions dictate her reality. Reality does not dictate her emotions. She can't change her emotions. And I am testing her emotions. And her emotions, what? Towards me. She cannot change that. So despite knowing the test, she'll run right into it and fail. Knowing, she'll be there damn! she won't be able to change it. So no, it doesn't change it. Absolutely not, bro. Because women are emotional creatures and their emotions dictate everything. And most game is what? It's playing on their emotions. So yeah, no, it won't, not in the least. Yeah, we have people in Dubai. Yes, obviously. You think as an Indian guy can marry a Lebanese Egyptian girl? Why not? What would prevent you from it? I don't understand. I mean, you got to help me understand that one. Why would it not work? Other than the cultural differences, where it's like, you know, you guys have your, I don't know. I don't. Is it I think it's more racism than it is culture. You know what I mean? I think you guys like, you know, the Indians don't like this one and the Arabs don't like that one. I think it's more of that. I mean, I think that's bigger problem, you know, than anything else. I don't see why it wouldn't work other than like, man, the family like, oh, there's an Indian guy. Oh, yeah, really, why wouldn't it work? You know, other than something like that. I mean, what? She over here cracking jokes. You know, I just got married. I got married to a Bengali sister, believe it or not. And what was their reaction? You're the black guy? What? So I think that's more of what you'll face than anything else. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to marry, you know, a Lebanese or an Egyptian girl. I mean, you just got to find the Lebanese or Egyptian girl that finds you attractive. Then it's a matter of fighting it out with their family. That's a good question. You know, the thing is, man, I don't think, I don't think, hmm, it's a good one. Let me think. Do it together. Do it together. Just get yourself a nice schedule, maybe 2 days. I don't know if you can handle it physically. Do 4 days. 2 days, you just do 2 days of boxing and just stick to it. You know why I say this? Because what happens is a lot of times guys will like start off strong in a particular field of combat, jujitsu or boxing, you know, and they'll get really good at it. And because that's their main focus and they've gotten good at it, when they go into the new field of jujitsu, or if he's a jiu-jitsu guy and then he goes into boxing, they really suck at it, you know, because you're starting over again. And so they only sit here and think and long for their art. And then it's like, well, if this was jiu-jitsu, I would, you know, you wouldn't punch me in the face with that uppercut because I take you to the ground with a heel hook, you know, and then you'll sit there and you'll do that, you know. And then if you're a boxer and you know you're taking your taps, you're like, well, you know, if this was a real street fight, I'd have knocked you out with an uppercut. And so what it does is it kind of warps your ability to like go into something else with an open and clear mind. But if you start both at the same time, you know, you just suck at both at the same time if you've never done a combat sport. And then guess what? You just get better at both at the same time. But you're going to need like a regular combat, you know, you're going to need a regular schedule and you're going to have to stick to it, you know, so yeah. Yeah. So I can't help you guys with that Indian stuff, man. The Indian Arab stuff. I don't know, man. It's that goofy culture stuff I always talk about. I guess. She said, my wife said, just don't tell him you're Indian. I don't know, man. That's a good plan, actually. Just don't say nothing. This is that goofy culture stuff I talk about all the time. When I talk about goofy culture, this is what I'm talking about. Man, you guys, it's like this brother here said it. Where'd he go? What did he say? This brother said it right here. Or is that a sister? Anis. No, Anis. That's his brother. Culture and nationality going hand in hand. But if he's Muslim, I don't see the problem. They say, khalas. If you're Muslim, you're Muslim. Muslims, you know, Muslims are allowed to marry Muslims. I personally don't see the problem. But this is that culture thing, you know. I mean, I'm just like, you know, like, yo, it's a Muslim man, marry him. So yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. You got to find that Lebanese girl or that the Egyptian girl that wants to marry an Indian guy, and then you got to be that guy. You know what I mean? But I think if you're that guy, they don't really care. They're gonna be looking for you no matter what. You know, you have all sorts of girls looking for you. So Yeah, inshallah. So yeah, Barakallahu Feek. 1 hour and 30 minutes. Jazakallahu khair. I'm trying to have a guest. Oh, okay. Phoenix Knight, you jump in here. Okay, very fast. Phoenix Knight with $5 super chat. Jazakallah khair. Barakallahu feek. Wa feekum wa barakallah. I have a black belt in Taekwondo. Nice. I started off with Taekwondo when I was a kid, but I'm not skilled in boxing. Loves BJJ and was humble. Jazakallah khair. Wayak. Yeah, you know, it's always like that. When you go into a new discipline, you always get humbled, man. And it's really it's humbling. You know, it's a lot of times it's difficult for people to take their licks until they get better. You know, when I first started boxing, man, I was getting beat up, bro. You know, but alhamdulillah, I had a professional boxing coach, and he wasn't only a good fighter, he was also a good coach. And this is rare that you find the two together in one man. You know, because generally when you look at like a lot of like Mike Tyson is unarguably an amazing fighter, right? Who was his coach? Was his coach a fighter? No, he wasn't. Look at Team Atos from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They made a team full of champions. It's amazing how many champions came out of the Team Atos house. Their coach. Not a single trophy. Nobody knows who he is. So a good coach doesn't have to be a good fighter. You know what I mean? So I was blessed with like having a good coach and a good fighter. You know, he was 2-1. So yeah, you know, so I had to fight my coach, which just comes back to being humbled, you know. So you know, you're gonna get humbled, and you need it, you know, because if you've got like a healthy sense of masculinity about yourself, you're not gonna want to lose. You hate losing, and so what you're gonna do? You're gonna stay at it until you become a winner, until you get good. You're able to put up resistance in a fight, you know, against anybody or everybody. Generally, yeah, that's basically it. You know, women. What was the saying? It was Rolo saying, "Women make room, break rules for alphas and make rules for betas." Yeah, I think that's what they say. Okay, barakallahu fikum for tuning in. Inshallah, I'm gonna call it a night. It's getting late here. Yeah, I'm gonna try and have a guest on next Friday, inshallah. We'll see what I can do about that. It's your man Abuamerican. Thanks for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Until the next time.